Hello and welcome back to another multiplayer battle. I brought in a Empire Captain, a General again, and a Light Wizard. I'm not changing it up too much right now. I'm just trying to show you how powerful my current build for the Empire is. I mean, it's very powerful. I've been able to win pretty much every game that I've played in it. Actually, every game so far with it when I've been playing with other people in Tokshin. Tokshin, well, he's a person, but you get my point. I'm playing with other people. I have a Dwarf ally way over here. Oh yeah, I remember this battle. Okay, so I had an ally who wanted to camp on a hill, okay? I wasn't for that. In the very beginning, he had his formation to camp on a hill. And he actually insulted me a lot. He kept calling me names, oh, you idiot, blah, blah. And I'm going to show you what I was able to do on my own. Alright? I knew that I wouldn't be able to do well, but I wasn't going to camp with him. Because in the very beginning, he was just very hostile to me. I'm going after Centaurs. I mean, really, we would have been able to easily have won no matter what. But here I am, fighting on my own. I really thought in the very beginning he would follow me. I actually didn't know he was going to camp. I was just moving forward immediately because I'm so used to playing with Tokshin where we always move forward. It's very rare for us to actually stay back. We've done it a few times when we've had a lot of artillery just because of our builds, but we don't really bring a lot of that anymore. We go straight into it, and I was playing like I was playing with Tokshin. It was only until I had my entire army over here that I was like, oh no. But at that point, it was too late for me to really move back. They're already coming at me, and rather than have my ally really come to help me out, he said, nope, I want to move up a little bit, look at you, and then immediately move back. But we would have been fine. That's okay, though. Like in our previous battle, I'm going to heavily beat them down. I'm going to hurt them a lot. I've taken out one group of Centaurs. They're wavering. They'll be back, but I did a lot of damage to them. They're all charging in at me. None of the side gores are very bad. They can easily do a lot of damage to me. But had he even moved down and handled my right flank, we would have been okay. Oh yeah, I could have handled every giant creature here. I could have handled the Minotaurs, the Vargulfs. All he had to do was just move in right here, block the Vampire Count player, and that would have been amazing. We would have been fine, and we would have won. Vargulfs are moving in. That's okay, though. They can't break my flatulence. I have a General of the Empire doing a lot of damage to a Vargulf, knocking it back, and already critical binding in the very beginning. That is what I'm talking about. They have Minotaurs moving in, but we could have easily have taken them down. All I needed, again, to reiterate, was my ally moving down over here to hold my right flank. He could have flanked the Beastman player, and that would have been okay, but he chose not to. And he'll let the ally know that too, by just going, hey, by the way, I don't like my ally's plan of actually trying to play. What a bad idea. So, he wasn't all for that, unfortunately. So we're going to watch my men just begin to die as we have more and more creatures begin to move in. I'm trying to go after Gorbulls. I'm trying to go after Vargulfs. I got rid of one Vargulf nearly immediately. I did a lot of damage to it. I've got my Degree Knights who are charging in. They shouldn't be there fighting shields, but they are right now. Let's go ahead and look at it in a cinematic view. I've got my men fighting all over. I'm trying to buff them up. I'm trying to keep them all alive right now. Whatever I can do. I've got a lot of unbreakable units. My goal here is to stay together. I got Flagellants over here going after the Centaurs who are still surrounding me, going after my Sterling's Revenge, getting a little bit of damage on them. Let's go look over here now. We've got Centaurs now flanking me on my right flank, which again, had that been protected, we would have been fine. We would have been completely fine. I have so many giant creatures fighting me now, like a lot of Minotaurs. I've got all these Flagellants who are still fighting. I've got my General over here trying to do his own thing. He wouldn't really get out of that mixture of units, though. I've got my Degree Knights who are still fighting. They shouldn't be there fighting a bunch of Ungor herds, but they were. They would have been better served fighting other Vargulfs. I've got my Reichsguard charging around. I've got a Manticore who's coming to fight me now, which is really bad. I've got a Master Necromancer coming to charge at me, too. A Block of Doom. Now, that is where I got screwed. Now, that actually did a lot of damage to me because we were all grouped up fighting a big mosh pit. But if you look at it, the Minotaurs were falling apart. That would be all the critical units of the Vampire Count player, all the critical units of the Beastman player. We would have been okay. And my right flank was completely unguarded. I could have easily have watched one flank, but two of them was a little bit difficult fighting two players. I'm charging in all over, trying to salvage a very dirty situation. We have Magic moving down. That was actually a great shot. I'm impressed. He did a great job with his Brave Shaman. He was very effective in countering a lot of my units and hurting them. Another Vargulf falling apart. Critical binding. I'm charging in, trying to go after another Vargulf. Didn't really do as much damage as I thought it would. Actually, no, it did enough. half health. So look over here again. General of the Empire still fighting. 16 kills right now. We're charging in. We're beginning to really get whittled down. We have a Banshee over here fighting too. Curse of Years on my units, which is not helpful. Demogryph Knights took a lot of damage. Again, 2 versus 1. They have a lot more utility to use. Double the magic to use on me. That is where they really had a great time, having double the magic, being able to pound me into submission like that. But if you look at it, I fought a lot of giant creatures. A lot of them. Bargulfs, Minotaurs, Heroes, everything came in to fight me. Then later we had the Vampire Count, who finally made it after a long wait. And the Dwarf player had his 1 cannon. Had he brought more cannon, I would have been more than happy to move back. But 1 cannon, not really that great. But because I was fighting over here, he was allowed to shoot at them and accumulate a lot of kills. I remember talking to my friends in chat, and I was like, yep, I know that we'll be able to pull it off, but he's going to be like, oh, it was because of me. I'm like, no, it was definitely not. I could have had any other player, and we still would have been okay. Any other player who could have done. Even that new guy that I taught like live via typing in the game. The Graveyard are now moving in, and that's where I'm in big trouble. But they were allowed, and they were even told that he wouldn't help me out in all chat. So that is what was happening here as I'm fighting. I kind of wish I was able to bring out my hero. He wouldn't really get out. He was grouped on by so many different creatures that I couldn't really do it. I've nearly taken out so much of the Vampire Count players. Banshee and another Vargulf again. Unfortunately, my general is now fleeing. That Manticore can do a lot to me. Otherwise, we would have been okay. I did a lot of damage to everything here. If you look at it, things are pretty beat up. And here I am, just trying my best to finish off what they have as they finish me off. I've had a lot of allies actually charge ahead without me, and I'll charge ahead right then too. I don't like to leave them on their own. I find that to be incredibly wrong. Sterling's Revenge, they're doing their thing. I've got my own stuff now flying over to the Dwarf player because I'm done for. I fought them for a majority of the match. They're very weakened up and grouped up, so the cannon and everything is going to be okay. So they fought me and lost a lot of Vargulfs, a lot of giant creatures, a lot of Minotaurs. Do they even have any left? They might have a few left somewhere. I fought so many Minotaurs. So now we've got the remnants of their army. Very few are left over here. Slayer's got them. And he's got his new box formation, and that's what you call that when you box up like that, a new box. But now they're charging up a hill. And I know a few people will be like, oh, but tactically you should be using a hill, blah, blah. I would say do not try to equate real life tactics to a Warhammer game at all. Or most Total War games. Curse of Years, a little bit too early to use that. But Flock of Doom would definitely do a lot of damage. He could have even have waited with his own Cygor and had done a lot of damage to that. But they allowed the Slayers to go after that Cygor. So they end up going to do a lot of damage. And look at that. For some reason, they just begin to trickle in. Like, once they begin to fight him, they just begin to trickle in. I don't know why. They, like, stopped playing at that point. My guys are fleeing. And then they just begin to do very weird things like that. Zombies are moving in. Again, not a good call to have that much of your Necromancer's health to be taken down. Yeah, they're immediately going away. They're not going to do a lot. I mean, had he used them on the gunners, that would have been okay. But he didn't do that. We're still running back. I've got a few units who are continuing to fight. Look over here. I'm trying to shoot that Feral Manticore. Right now. That'll probably be going to move eventually. We've got one Gore Bull, Kaiserak now moving, and that Bray Shaman. Slayers are still fighting over here. I've got my General of the Empire helping out. Oh yeah, I charge it immediately to go fight the Cygor. I've got my Demogryphs going after that. Only 2 left, and they're still going. They're still fighting. I went immediately to charge it and did a devastating amount of damage to that Cygor. And they're all charging up, trickling in. They didn't trickle in when fighting me, but they trickled in when fighting him. Charging up a hill. I'm moving my greatswords back. We have Sterling's Revenge. Still pretty filled up. Probably gonna have him shoot that Graveguard group in a little while. And even though we weren't getting along, we're still on the same team, and I still have to fight. I could have just left. I could have just given up. Whatever. I could have just actually just let him destroy my entire army without doing any damage to them at all, but I chose to do what I could with what I had left. I have greatswords now fighting. 61 kills. I have Sterling's Revenge now shooting, actually, at a different group. Right, at that group of raiders. More debuffing, a very weird one. I mean, that could be effective against the range units, but I don't think that was really a concern at that point. I'm over here now fighting a group of Ungor Spearmen, using my silver bullets, trying to do some damage. I've got over here my 2 Demigryph Knights chasing after a group, keeping them off of the battlefield. So we're beginning to really sweep them up because, I mean, they just kind of blobbed in. They blobbed in on him, and he didn't have to fight an army of Vargulfs and an army of Minotaurs in the very beginning, crashing through his lines as more units moved in with their full amount of magic power. So like in the previous battle that I played, I weakened the foe immensely so. And that's how it works. Sure, you might have a 2 versus 1 in the very beginning, but you've got to retain a lot of your units, and then you got to play it smart to fight the other enemy too. You can't just lose it all. When over here, I had my general and my Empire Captain go after that Gore Bull as well. Over here, my silver bullets are still shooting at those Ungors. And they're all falling apart now and fleeing. And we won the battle. So let's go look at it real quick. I lost over 1,000. I had 284 remaining. I did quite a bit of damage with my Reichsguard. And keep in mind, in the very beginning, I was fighting all the giant creatures. So not a ton of kills overall, but enough to hurt them a lot. My Light Wizard surprisingly got a lot of kills, all right? 55 total, not bad. Yeah, we did all right doing that. Not bad. Over here, he didn't get a lot of kills outside of the cannon. The cannon did most of the killing. And he fought a lot of zombies too to pad his kills. So, I mean, he did that. The Slayers were the only unit who were able to really do anything significant. Over here, you had 4 Vargulfs I was fighting, 2 Banshees, a White King, and Master Necromancer. Then I was fighting Kazarak, a Bray Shaman, 2 Gore Bulls. Let's see, we got 2 Minotaurs, 3 Centaur groups, a Cygor, which I didn't really have to deal with, thankfully. But that is what I had to fight, and I held on. So, thank you for watching. You can, I don't know, measure my salt levels. They are extremely high. I need to watch my sodium intake, I'm sure. Anyway, look forward to more content, more anger, more rage. I'm SurrealBeliefs, and thank you for watching.